Please take a moment with me. Let's acknowledge that the person watching this video is not the person you were last week, last month, last year, and further back. Identity is not set in stone. It's constantly changing under our noses. Every memory and experience shapes us. Together, it all combines to make our unique self, our individual slice of the human experience, our identity. Whether you're personally in tune with the ways your identity has evolved, or this is your first time facing it head on, you are not who you once were. Change is among the most natural things we experience. But what about when change feels like something we need to understand instead of just acknowledging it's happening? Identity is fluid. There is no right or wrong. Identity just is. However, simply acknowledging that doesn't make our identities easier to inhabit. For some of us, knowing your identity comes naturally. For others, myself included, identity feels more like a question than the birthright it is. Since before identity was even a concept in my mind, my identity has felt like it's been locked behind a door and I'm without the key. In other words, I know it's there. I have an identity, but something has followed me through my life, blocking me from being able to identify who I am. I still wake up each day with an identity feeling like it's waiting to be unlocked. In 5th grade, I was given an activity to create a visual board explaining who I am, our family trees, geographical heritage, our personal loves and experiences and desires. While I worked on the board superficially, adding my immediate family and immutable facts about myself, anything greater quickly turned to static in my mind. I was paralyzed at the attempt of identifying myself. And as I've grown up, I continued to freeze when tasked with facing my identity. I went looking for other perspectives, to find those that know themselves inherently, or have faced their identities head on. Josh Batista is someone I've only known for a few years. But in that short time, I've come to see them as a testament to living confidently as yourself.
I had to, in order to find who I really was, I had to stop caring about what other people thought. I did the cliche thing. In the first couple years of high school, I became the bully. I know that there are a lot of people that I treated really badly because in my brain it was bully or be bullied. And I hadn't learned until later on in high school that the best way to avoid all of it is to actually separate yourself by being yourself.
Though my initial connection to Josh was made for me, as they're currently dating my older sister, that doesn't change the fact that Josh's relationship to their identity has resonated with me. Regardless of how Josh has changed as they've grown older, since high school, Josh has had the tools for creating and living confidently as the person they want to be.
When I finally figured out how binary thinking is detrimental, that I really started to embrace who I was in all sorts of ways. It was me realizing that I didn't have to be uh just just mask or just femme or just I was it really just had this moment of being like, oh, I could just do whatever the hell I want, and that's okay.
From Josh's queer identity to their range of passions, Josh is a living testament to human multiplicity. We're not meant to be one definable thing. We're meant to do whatever the hell we want. Doing whatever the hell I want is a muscle I need to get back to training. Hunter Warner is a fellow media student and creator of the YouTube series Life Advice with Hunter. Since starting in 2023, this daily series tries to answer viewers' burning questions about life. And oftentimes, Hunter is learning right alongside his audience.
I
Mm.
think that trial and error is what makes us human, right?
Mhm.
And I think that so many people in the era of AI, the era of technology, are so afraid to fail. I think that it's important to experiment. If you haven't found that thing, what haven't you tried? There is something that you haven't tried that for some reason you've said, I don't want to try it, whether if you're scared or whether if you're just thinking that you won't like it.
Even in the weeks since interviewing a hunter, this advice still lays at the front of my mind. There's so many things I've avoided trying simply out of the fear of failing. But I need to remind myself that the attempt is just as valuable. And over time, those attempts add up to progress, no matter how small.
The point is to look back at the progress. And I think that a lot of people, don't think about that enough, is that you need to examine your progress in a week or two from now. You
Mm.
can't examine your progress in short-term memory. You just can't, because if you want to improve on something, it takes time.
In a world that moves fast and is getting faster than anyone can reasonably keep up with, the less I've found myself with the patience to reflect on where I've been. But since sharing this conversation with Hunter and rereading my own daily journals, I find myself being more patient, understanding, and overall more confident in what I'm doing. Taking the time to actively reflect on where we have been and acknowledging what we have accomplished along the way are potent reminders of the fact that nothing is built in a day. Though I've said that my identity feels like something in need of being unlocked, I've questioned time and time again if this is a personal failing, a psychological condition, or something else entirely. I began to research different philosophies of identity. In that research, I was presented with an opportunity to think about it from an entirely different perspective. The idea of making something of yourself, it's distinctly Western. Eastern ideologies start from a different premise entirely. We are never incomplete to begin with. From the moment we're born, we are always ourselves. In a conversation on the podcast, Know Thyself, host Andre Dukum speaks with Shaolin master Shi Hen Yi about the challenges of Western thinking and identity. Shi Hen Yi equates the idea of becoming someone to creating an avatar.
Being no one. This is not what the culture in the West is built upon. It's always built upon do something with your lifetime, become someone. But the problem is, again, you are creating an avatar, you are creating a persona, you are creating a role, you are creating an identity. Whoever brought us here, whatever brought us here, I cannot believe that this power brought us here incomplete for you to figure out along the way what you need to create. Meaning, the more you try to become someone, the more unauthentic you become. Because you're moving away of what you are all the time.
I still wake up each day unsure of who I am. But somewhere between Josh, Hunter, Shi Heng Yi, and my own journals, I've taken on the sense that there is nothing to find, that I just am. And you, viewer, are simply you. I don't have a grand lesson or resolution to the question of identity. What I have is this, that the search for who I am might matter less than I thought. And that terrifies me, but it also quietly relieves me. I've started to make peace with not knowing, with the idea that identity isn't something to find or unlock. It's something invisible we must learn to let be invisible, something that makes itself every day, whether we're searching for it or not. As you continue into the rest of your day, take notice of any uncomfortable feelings that might arise. Instead of reaching for a distraction, your phone, other people, whatever, Take 5 minutes to sit with that feeling. Just let yourself be a human being. Thank you for watching the Identity Deep Dive.